iPods. iPods. So, there's a big load of difference between these two iPods. The click wheels, the colors, the sounds of the clicker. MacBook.
So what is this MacBook? This is an A1286. Now why this MacBook? Well, the A1286 is sort of a do-it-all kind of machine. It's like the broad-spectrum antibiotics of using a MacBook with iPods. Another advantage of these A1286 models is that they're very affordable. This guy, she's a little rough around the edges, missing a couple feet, got a couple screws loose, but she works. It's got that cool standby light. Look at this, a little battery indicator. Ooh, all these features and ports. Look, see that back there? That's FireWire 800. So with all these ports, it's pretty easy to see why one would recommend this machine. As you can tell, it's also running Big Sur. Obviously, it's not the most performant MacBook in the world, but it's capable of running these later versions of Mac OS X. But it didn't get there on its own. This machine had a dead GPU, hence why I got it for free. Now, what does that mean? There's two graphics processors in this machine. One is the Intel integrated graphics built into the CPU, and then there's another dedicated AMD chip, which is a processor all on its own. When that dedicated graphics chip dies, the whole machine doesn't work anymore. It'll just show a blank white screen whenever you turn it on and get past the Apple logo. That means people are throwing these things away or selling them on eBay as broken, when really there's a simple patch that you can do to fix them. It's called the GPU Disable NVRAM patch. If you Google that, there will be a guide on how to apply that patch to the machine and get it booting into its operating system again. But unfortunately, we're not done yet. From there, you need Open Core Legacy Patcher. So, what is Open Core Legacy Patcher? Well, Open Core Legacy Patcher is a big compilation of scripts and patches that can allow an older machine such as this one to run newer versions of OS X, such as Big Sur. And look, it's even got special options for people who do this disable NVRAM DGPU fix. So once you use Open Core Legacy Patcher to build an installer, you can throw Big Sur on this machine and end up using it with all of your new iPods. The only real disadvantage to buying a MacBook with a dead graphics card and then running this patch is that essentially the external monitor out will no longer work. So you can't use it to, say, project to a TV or a projector or something like that, but for just taking care of your iPods, this is perfect. Alright, so it's got the features and it can run the new operating systems, which means it'll have good compatibility with newer iPods. But what about the older iPods? Well, as I said earlier, it does have that FireWire 800. You'll need an 800 to 400 cable to use the older iPods. But what about the software side of things? Because the Finder version of iPod syncing can be a little touch and go with those older ones. Well, this thing can run as far back as Snow Leopard. At least that's as far as I've tried with it. And you can dual boot, so that means that you can go between macOS Big Sur and Snow Leopard if you want. But that doesn't mean that that's what I do.
MacBook.
I've got this insanely old Apple A1286 MacBook Pro. This is so old, it's actually one of the original MacBook Pros. It comes in the old PowerBook G4 style of case. But look at the ports, my friend. It's got FireWire 400. It's got FireWire 800. Full-blown Ethernet in. Is that DVI? Hello, old friend. No battery. I had to put masking tape in the display to get the backlight working. We won't go over that, but you betcha she works. Hey! Now it has some annoyances. For example, the clock is always wrong because the battery feeds the clock and it's not in the machine, but look at all this music I have over here. As you can see, she's still more than capable of syncing old iPods, which is exactly what I use her for. And she's pretty quick. pretty snappy. Now, I've done some upgrades to both of these machines. This guy, I believe, has 4 gigs of RAM. Yeah, DDR2, Core 2 Duo. Oh, pretty old, pretty tired, but on something like Snow Leopard, no problem. Actually, pretty dang good for the time. I mean, the SSD that's in this machine didn't even exist back then, so it's maxing out that interface, no doubt. So yeah, it runs good. I mean, again, for old ancient iPods, I mean, it's got the 400 right on the side. What else do you want? I mean, the prices on these are super low. Plus, both these machines also come with a disk drive. So if you're the kind of person who likes to rip old CDs like me, perfect, right? That's why I recommend both these machines, more so the A1286, just because it's sort of a jackknife. It'll do what this thing can do faster. I just like this one because it's old and cool and someone left a Daft Punk vinyl on it. Isn't it sick? So that's all I got for you today. Just wanted to give you a quick little recommendation of what machine to pick up if you're trying to manage a bunch of old iPods across a wide range of release dates. This would be the guy to go for. And again, they're fairly cheap. You can find them on eBay for about 70 US. Sometimes you can, win a bid war and get them even cheaper. They're gonna require a bit of work to get going, but if you find a reliable one, it's pretty much the ultimate Swiss Army knife for dealing with old iPods. Hope you enjoyed this one, and yeah, that's kind of it.